As a well-known developer and producer of sheet metal working machines such as press brakes and shears, Sarf and Dali also is a world-leading producer of standalone and complete systems in the field of cutting and processing cathodes. In 2012, Dali engineered its latest and finest processing line, with greater speed, precision, reliability, and more possibilities than ever. It includes multiple robotic arms, 4 processing shears, an ingenious system to quickly change the blades, automated weighing station with label printing, and a separate line to process even the smallest parts. The line is fully automatic, CNC controlled, and continuously monitored by sensors and cameras. This makes it possible to have the line operational with only one operator. This is how it works. Cathodes are delivered to the feeding and replacing station. The cathode is cut clean on these 2 processing shears, cut into strips here, and cut into blocks here. At the end of the line, drums are filled, weighted, and labelled here. This is where it all starts. The cathodes are delivered in 2 stacks to the feeding station by a forklift. The robotic arm picks up the upper 2 cathodes, then the repositioning table moves forward and the cathodes are placed onto this table. Here, the cathodes are configured into the system, and the line adapts to these configurations. Now the robotic arm can transport the cathode to the first processing shear. Because the edges of this exceptionally high-purity cathodes have a lower nickel content, they need to be removed. These vertical shears of the type VS2525 can cut through 25mm thick steel over a 2.5 meter length. However, this is no regular setup for a shear. Dali completely re-engineered the shear so it can cut through a difference in material thickness of 15mm within one cathode without trouble. This is achieved thanks to the special clamping system and the closed C-shape of the frame. This results in better tension distribution among the material. Also, the hydraulic cylinders are placed on the sides of the shear. This way, no oil can come into contact with the cathode. On this shear, the lugs as well as the first 2 edges of the cathode are removed. Then the cathode is transported by a second robotic arm and transported to the second processing shear. On the second processing shear, the 2 remaining edges are removed. The purity of the cathode is now secured. The scrap of both processing shears are gathered, so this can be processed in a later stage. Now the cathode can proceed to the next processing shear. A third robotic arm grabs the now purified cathode and transports it to the in-feed table of the third processing shear. The in-feed table has a pusher that pushes the cathodes into the shears, so strips are cut in the required dimensions. To counter the twisting of the strip that occurs during the cutting process, this shear is equipped with an ingenious anti-twist system, which is specially designed by Dali. It clamps the shear in the first stage of the cutting process, thus negating any twisting of the strip. Finally, the straight strips end upon a conveyor belt where they are aligned by sensors and repositioned by magnets. The now cut, straightened and aligned strips are transported by a 4th robotic arm, equipped with magnets, transporting the strips to the in-feed table of the 4th processing shear. Here, the strips are pushed into the 4th processing shear where they are cut into the required squares. This shear is equipped with a sheet support system, ensuring the strip doesn't tumble over when the last square is cut. Moreover, Dali's engineers developed a revolutionary system to quickly change the blades on the processing shears. Normally, these blades must be replaced manually, taking multiple hours and requiring the line to be unoperational during this time. For a processing line of this scale, this is very uneconomical. This is why Dali designed a special blade changing system, where blades can be adjusted and lined out prior to inserting them into the processing shear. Each shear has its own blade changing system, making it possible to change multiple shears' blades simultaneously. This results into a downtime of only a few minutes, thus increasing the efficiency of the machine. At the end of the fourth processing shear, the squares are transported by conveyor belts to the filling station. Here, drums are filled in a series of steps. The drum is vibrated and weighted to ensure that the nickel is distributed equally among the drum. Each drum, containing 250 kilograms of nickel, receives a label that is automatically printed here. An operator closes the lid. Now the nickel is ready for transport. This is one of many customized projects that Dali made in the last 20 years. We excel in these projects, and thanks to our experience and know-how, we can take on projects that no other company can. Dali, custom-made innovation in sheet metal working machines.